Well, the USD women's basketball team off to a great start once again this season. Coyotes 9-1 after 10 games against an extremely difficult schedule. And here to talk a little bit more about that is Coyotes head coach Dawn Plitzuweit. Dawn, I know you did this with a lot of intent, to prepare your team for the Summit League schedule, obviously, but to also build that resume to a point where it was hard not to take a good long look at you guys later on down the road when NCAA tournament comes into play and all those things. So 10 games in, you still happy with the decisions that you made from a schedule standpoint?
Well, at this point in time, what's been really good to see is that we have gotten better through the course of these 10 games. We have shown great improvement really in the last 4 games on the defensive side of things. Offensively, we've been fairly consistent for the most part, but at the same time, we've seen a lot of different looks. And it's something that we've got to continue to improve upon some of our decision making and our efficiency. But I'd say overall, yes, I think we're getting better because of the schedule that we're playing.
As you look at what you've faced to this point and considering who the opponents are there areas where maybe you've been even better than you expected to be to this point?
Well, I think the thing that I've been really impressed with our group of young ladies is that they have an incredible amount of resilience and an incredible amount of toughness and character, and they've found a way in some situations that didn't look overly promising. They've kind of clawed their way back into the game and then found a way to come out on top more often than not.
Now, I know you pride yourself on having a lot of balance, particularly in that first 5, and night in and night out, a different woman could step up and really, really contribute. But one woman that certainly has done her part and then some to this point is Kyra Duffy, and that's not a surprise to anyone. She's a great player. Summit League Athlete of the Month, and all she's done to this point, averaged 16.5 points a game, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. What is she doing right now to allow her to take her game to an even higher level than it's been to this point?
Well, I think Kyra has been a player who is even more in attack mode than she's been in the past. And that's been something she's been very consciously building. Now, when she does that, teams really she's drawn a lot of attention too. And so when she continues to attack, they throw extra defenders at her, and that's why her assist numbers are as incredibly high as they are. So not only is she creating by getting to the rim for our team, for herself by getting there, but also she's created an awful lot for her teammates. Then we turn around and we ask her in certain situations to guard the best shooter on the other team. Maybe it's a post-player matchup. Sometimes she has to get over ball screens. Sometimes she has to be the post defender guarding the ball screen. So she's been incredibly versatile again for us.
Another individual that's really stood out, I think, is Hannah Sheridan. And I think at first glance, a lot of people would look at her numbers and say maybe they're down a little bit from what they were a year ago. But again, I think that's where the competition comes into play. And I think that's almost what makes them that much more impressive is what she's done against the opponents that she's done it against.
Well, what I've been really impressed with Hannah is not only her offensive efficiency, and I think she's been very, very efficient on that end, but her development on the defensive end. And we talked about it a little bit with playing the schedule we've played. We've played 10 opponents. 5 of those opponents have played us in a motion offense. 4 of them have been in a 5-out type of motion offense where Hannah has to be out and defend on the perimeter. And that's something that she wasn't as comfortable doing in the past, but she's becoming more and more comfortable, more and more confident with it. And that's allowed her to make some different things happen than she wasn't capable or wasn't comfortable doing in the past.
Now, as good as that first unit has been, and it's been really, really good. I mean, it's hard to argue with anything that you're getting out of them, but the key is to obviously develop a little bit further on down the bench. And when you play these tough opponents, sometimes you have to keep that rotation a little bit tighter and maybe don't get to see some of the younger players that you might otherwise have gotten out in the game in previous preseasons. So bench development, few games left in non-conference. How big of a priority is that for you?
Well, I would say this. I think our bench has given us some very, very important minutes thus far. Taylor Frederick coming off the bench has given us incredibly valuable minutes, gives us a very different look in post-play. Liv Korngable, especially in the last couple of games, has really been very comfortable, has scored it efficiently. She's always been a good defender for us, a good rebounder for us on both ends of the court, and someone who helps our offensive movement that way. She's given us some great minutes. Claudia Kunzer is just like a favorite of her teammates, a favorite of our fans because of the energy that she plays with. She's come in and given us some very, very important minutes. And Janai Ugowski, a freshman for us from right up the road in Harrisburg, has given us some very important minutes. Now, as things have started to progress, think you're seeing Megan Bonar, you've seen Alexi Hempy get back into action for the first time. Macy Giebert has a really big game for us against Northern Illinois. And so I think it is important that we continue to grow, we continue to develop, and those young ladies continue to develop their confidence while they're in game action.
The week ahead, you wrap up a 4-game homestand, which, by the way, is your longest of the season. I know you have enjoyed it after the November that you had and all the travel that you had to go through as a team. But you got Mount Marty coming up Wednesday night, an NAI opponent, and then Montana on Sunday. What are you looking at, and what are some of the areas you're really concentrating on over these next couple of games? Well,
I think what's really important for us is that we continue. We've done a great deal of our self-scouting this year. Look at how we've tweaked some of our looks offensively, tweaked some of the things that we do defensively. How has that helped us? Has it helped us? What do we need to continue to modify? And so now that we're at home, we're really focusing on us as much as we can. It's hard when you have 2 days and then you play another game, or 3 days and you play another game. We really haven't had the time to focus on us as much as hopefully we do during this next stretch in the next 3 games before our Christmas break.
All right, well, again, Coyotes back in action Wednesday night, back on Midco Sports Network on Sunday afternoon against the University of Montana.